player is.
Yes.
But, John, you say go pro. Some would argue this is professional basketball. It is professional sports now.
It's amateur basketball.
It's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
But well, then let's just call it pro and let it be a pro basketball.
Well, but when first of all, it was pro basketball before NIL, and I'll tell you why. Amateur sports don't make billions of dollars and pay their coaches and administrators millions. There is nothing about this that has ever been amateur once the money jumped up. And it started in 1984 with the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that allowed the conferences to sell their media rights. There is no difference between the media rights contracts with the NCAA from a media company like ours and the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. Zero difference. And right now, when we're talking about this, we're kind of taking an old school mentality of, hey, it used to be a certain way, and that's fine. But if we want players to stay, then sign them to long-term contracts and put buyouts in them. But the NCAA doesn't want to do that because they don't want them to be employees. They want to beg Congress for an antitrust exemption, and they're not going to get it. What other multi-billion-dollar industry is getting an antitrust exemption from Congress? There isn't one. What the NCAA should do is make rules that don't violate federal law. The rest of American business has to do it. They can do it too.
Well, that's the one major difference then, right? Like that's the difference between being an NBA or NHL. There are rules and regulations. Also, there's a CBA. The players have a voice. The coaches have a voice. We don't have any of those guidelines.
Because they don't want it.
Exactly.
The NCAA does not want it. And like when it drives me crazy when people say, well, we used to talk about education. What's stopping you from talking about education? If a player's not interested in education, then don't take the player. You know, and if you don't like transfers, don't take transfers. But you know what everybody wants to do? They want to win. Like none of these schools is going, we have the highest GPA. They're going, we've been to 6 Final Fours. They want to win, and they're going to pay what's necessary to win.
But you got to find a balance because I don't care what, with collective bargaining, it's a professional sport. All those things sound great. But in the end, these are 17 to 18-year-old kids.
They're not kids.
Well, yeah,
it's called men's college basketball. They're adults.
That's just rhetoric.
No,
a 17-year-old is not an adult.
They're adults.
A 17-year-old is a developing young person.
That's different.
That
You say developing young man. Developing young man is still an adult. They get charged with a crime. They're charged as an adult.
Can I just say this? I've been one that has promoted young people making money 15 years ago. They're NIL. They should be able to do this. We just got to figure out, maybe it's collective bargaining. Maybe it's collective bargain with the trade union, the players, and we come up with something. This is not sustainable. If you don't want it to sustain, then say, let's just keep going as is. I'm in this. I mean, I don't mind kids transferring. I don't. But I'm saying, do we really want them to be able to go every year? And then you say, well, coach can. Well, if I left, my players can leave. If I leave, there is a buyout in there. So I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I do know this. The transfer and the length of eligibility. A 17-year-old playing against a 28-year-old is not healthy and safe. It's just not.
There needs to be some kind of years of qualification.
And why in football do they make them stay 3 years? Because they say it's not safe.
No, that's not why. The NFL has a collective bargaining agreement.
You and I could go back and forth on this and have some fun with it.
But they determine, so that's a great point. Like the NFL, it used to be 4 years. You know, college football is 50 years older than the NFL. And the NFL used to have, or excuse me, the NCAA used to have a rule way back in the day that when the NFL was getting going, that if you worked in professional sports, you could no longer work in college sports. So the NCAA, the NFL came to the NCAA on bended knee and said, please don't do this to us. You'll kill us as we're getting going. We won't draft your players until they graduate. And then they started drafting them after 3 years. You know why? Not because they're mature enough now. It's because the USFL started drafting juniors, and they had to keep up. That's all it is. That's a collective bargaining issue for eligibility for the draft and nothing more. The NBA has an eligibility issue that says 1 year after your high school graduation and you're in. So that's a pro thing, not a college thing. And the colleges just the NCAA will not adjust to this. They never have. And they've used the word unsustainable for 50 years now, and the money keeps going up. The ratings are higher than they've ever been right now.
Cal, can I ask you from an institutional perspective, because we're not going to fix that issue right now on national TV. How has your system operationalized to kind of keep up with the times? How is it different than what it was 5 years ago? Are you going to have a CEO? Will you have a president overall? Do you have a GM now? Like, how's everything work?
It's different in basketball than football. And here's what I would say. If it comes a point for me personally where it's transactional, I'm paying, you're going to say I'm leaving, you got to pay me more, and I won't do this anymore. As long as it's transformational, I look at Darius Acuff, and he's going to keep me coaching for a few more years. Malik Thomas, they'll never be able to play together. Both of them are going to have pro careers. Billy Goat Richmond, Trevin Brazil, he's never been better. That makes me go. But if it becomes transactional, why am I doing this? Then I might well be a pro coach. Just be a pro coach. They fired me, though. Did you know they fired me? They fired me because I played rookies.
It's a remarkable thing, and I think both of you make great points in that. I agree with Jay. They're not kids, but they're still maturing. There's something to be said for helping them to develop, helping them make wise decisions, because when we are immature, even if we're adults, sometimes we grab at the first shiny thing we see, and it's not for the betterment in the long term.
Can I just say one?
But you have to let the business function as a business. Last word.
I just think we're talking about the one percenters. We're not talking about the enterprise. And we have young people that are making this money, and that's great. And they're going to go to Europe and get fired. They're going to come back, and you talk about mental health issues. We better be prepared to help these people and have someone build a bridge for them to cross to help them navigate the rest of their life, not just these 3 or 4 years where they're marketable.
So they'd be healthier unpaid.
I have nothing to say with that.
No, I don't think he's saying
I'm not
that.
saying that at all.
Jay, a kid's making $500,000 a year. He stays and he transfers and he makes $600 a year, and then he's done. No college degree. He goes to get a job, and the guy offers him $60,000. And the guy feels good about it. This is fugazi money right now, and you're right. There's so much of it. It's crazy. What do we do with that kid?
Exactly
now all of a sudden he says, $60,000. Do I get a car? Do I have to come to work? Do you get me? You're feeding me, right? The apartment. We're going to deal with mental health issues, and that's why I'm saying let's collect the bargain. Let's have people in the room. We're finally talking about it to say it's an issue right now, and we got to do something. I'm for the kids. I don't care what they make. I don't really care. Let people decide that. But how we run our business, we got to do this different for them. I hate to say it in the game too, which we've all benefited by.
No.
We're all waiting on older players. The game is better because it's older. They're 25, 26. I laugh and say the guy got 2 kids and his wife, and he's on his second wife. And
It's being a pro. It's being a pro.